If you're living in a camper or an RV full time, you're in for a treat because today I'm going to share with you 10 tips that will guarantee a great experience. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Rachel and I'm married to Matt and we have 5 kids. We are currently living in an RV with 4 of our kids traveling the lower states. So maybe you've been thinking about taking your family and moving into a bus or an RV or a camper and living full-time on the road, but you're a little nervous because you've heard some stories and you're worried that maybe it's going to be a really bad experience or really stressful and you're just not sure what to expect. So today I'm going to give you my top 10 tips for ways to guarantee a great experience no matter what you're living in. We've been doing this for 3 months now. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear my number 1 tip. So number 10 is you need to plan your trip. This is on my list because this is something that we didn't really do. When we first started out, we were renovating our house and renovating our bus, which we didn't end up bringing. Then we quickly bought this camper and moved into that and left before the snow hit. So we didn't actually have a lot of time to plan and we thought, oh, we'll just swing it and go and see what happens. It turned out okay, but it would have alleviated a lot of stress if we had had a plan ahead of time. So what should you plan for? Well, I would say definitely look at the route that you want to take, and along that route maybe the campsites, check them out and see which ones appeal to you. Some campsites are great and some are kind of sketchy. If you're going to want to do boondocking, you might want to look at places that are available along your route for that. So some campgrounds are extremely expensive and some are cheaper. It just really depends on what you want for your family. You can look along your route and plan what top activities you want to hit, which ones you'd like to hit, and I would also advise to check the weather for the time of year that you're going to be going. What ended up happening to us is we didn't do that and we couldn't go to the Grand Canyon and we couldn't go to the Sequoia Forest because they were buried in snow. I had no idea that it got that cold or that there would be snow, so being a naive Canadian that I am. So those are very important things that you're going to want to check out. So number 9 is don't plan too much in a short period of time. So the reason for this is if you've planned too many activities in a row and you have specific days that you need to hit them, when things come up you're not going to be able to necessarily do it all, and that causes more stress for everyone involved, and you definitely don't want that. You're going to need rest days and you're going to need cleaning days every single week so that your space doesn't get overwhelming and chaotic. Number 8 is be flexible, and talk with your family about this. Everyone needs to be flexible. There's going to be things that come up that affect what happens. So it could be the weather, it could be road closures, it could be sick kids, an injury. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Something could break down on your camper and you could be stuck for a few days. So be as flexible as possible with your plan. You do want to have that plan there, but you want everyone to know that there's a flow to things, and this is like the plan A, but you may have to come up with a plan B. Number 7 is you want to know what your budget is. So you need a basic budget for your gas, food, that sort of thing. You're going to want to have extra money set aside in case something breaks down, and you're also going to want to have money set aside for your activities. So know what your activities are going to cost you ahead of time, but also have a budget set aside for anything that comes up, because you'll be in a new place and a local will tell you about some amazing thing, and if you haven't budgeted for it, then something's got to go or you have to miss out. And this whole lifestyle is all about the adventure and all about new experiences, so you definitely want to plan ahead for that. Number 6 is bring as little as possible, and and I would say especially in the categories of clothing, toys, and books and games and crafts. You need very little of that stuff. I would say bring more outdoor activities, skipping ropes, balls, bikes, that sort of thing, and really limit what you have in your camper, because otherwise you are going to spend all your time cleaning, and you do not want to do this. It really makes everyone miserable, and we have spent the entire day cleaning before, and then, I'm not joking, less than 5 minutes later it looked like we'd done nothing. So if you have too many belongings, it's really just going to make it chaotic for you, and you're not going to be able to enjoy your experience. Number 5 is, when you're starting out, try to figure out a place for everything. So everything needs to have a place that it belongs, and if you're packing too much, it's really gonna mess that up. The first month that we were traveling, I would say we realized this doesn't actually make sense to keep this here, and so we had to rearrange that a few times. But if you start out with everything having a place, it's going to make your experience a lot better and go a lot smoother. And also making sure that everybody in the family knows where those things go is going to alleviate stress too, because then they're not looking for things and getting frustrated and impatient. Number 4 is meal plan. You're not necessarily going to be near a grocery store all the time, so you may want a meal plan for 3 days at a time or a week at a time, depending on how big your fridge is and how close you are to a store. Sometimes we've had to drive for 45 minutes just to get to a grocery store because of where we were boondocking or where we were camping. So another thing that we do with that is I will meal plan and put some stuff in the freezer, and then I've got meals for the week, so I'm saving time on cooking, or cook outside. I know a lot of people do that. We haven't done that as much, but it's definitely something that will help with the mess. Number 3 is have family meetings once a week. So you're going to want to sit down with your kids and your spouse and have a short meeting once a week just to say, hey guys, how's your week going? What worked for you? What did you enjoy? What didn't work for you? What can we help find solutions for? This is going to help everyone in your family to work together, to be a part of a team, but also help alleviate those things that are really causing stress for people, so things aren't building up and blowing up. Number 2 is my absolute favorite, which is have a date night at least once a week. Why so frequently? I would say more than once a week. When we lived in a regular house, sticks and bricks, we would go out once a week, and it was great for maintaining our communication and the excitement in our marriage and all of that, and just keeping the love alive. Now that we're in a camper, we're in each other's faces constantly, and if there's stuff about your spouse that drives you nuts, it's going to drive you even more nuts when you're in a small space, because you're used to one or both of you going to work 40 hours a week and having time apart and time together, and so you're getting those breaks from each other and from those annoying habits. When you live in such a tiny space, you're not getting those breaks, and so there's stuff that drove you nuts before is going to drive you even crazier now. So you want to make your marriage a priority, and when you do that, everything else is just going to fall into place. You're going to be more able to quickly forgive, and you're going to be able to see the good in that person instead of constantly stumbling over their mistakes and things that they do that drive you nuts. Well, you stuck through, so I will give you my number 1 tip for guaranteeing a great experience living in small quarters with people on the road. And that is, be aware of your mindset and take control of it. And what do I mean by this, and why is it my number 1? If you work harder on yourself than anything else, you will be unusually successful. This is a quote from someone, and I forget who. I'll put it in the description. But I have lived this and learned that it's totally true. When you're traveling, you're going to have all these experiences and circumstances happening all the time, and it gets really overwhelming sometimes. And no matter what breaks down or who's screaming and freaking out in the middle of something that you just paid $300 to participate in, what your spouse is acting like, or what thing is irritating you in the moment, or what's being spilled on the carpet again while you're trying to cook in a small space, none of this can actually have a negative effect on your experience. If you can come with me for a second and just hear me out. If you can let go of the outcome and see this instead of not an end goal for a specific experience, but just an experience, and focus more on, instead of on the outcome, focus more on the journey and what you can get out of the journey and what beauty you can bring to the journey. So if it's super messy and ugly and horrible, what can you do as a person to change your thoughts and your actions to make this ugly situation better? Instead of looking to blame or be right or correct someone, focus on the beauty, focus on the journey. So here's a simple way to do that. Stop in the moment and say, what thought am I having right now? And identify what it is. And then ask, how is that thought making me feel? What are those feelings? And then from there, ask, what am I doing because of these feelings? And then what are these things that I'm doing taking me towards? Are they taking me towards what I want, or are they taking me towards what I don't want? Are they creating more of what I don't want, or are they moving me away from that towards what I do want? And then if that thought is not serving you, you can get rid of it. You can decide not to have it. You don't need another person to behave in a certain way in order for your thoughts to be a certain way. You can actually choose what they are no matter what's going on, and no matter who's right or wrong. So choose a new thought. What's a new thought you could think? Reject that other one, and that new thought will bring new feeling and new action, which will take you towards what you actually want in the situation. And it's not always going to end up exactly how you pictured it, and that's okay, because it's not just about you, it's about the people that are with you too. And it's really important to bring joy to the people around you if you want to have joy inside. Another thing that's going to really help you with this is to keep a journal every day and write things in there that you are thankful for, especially about the people in your life and things that you admire in them. And then speak those things over them as well. And also plug into personal development every single day, because if you're not feeding yourself emotionally and spiritually and mentally, you're gonna just get drained so fast, especially as a mom. In this situation, it just gets crazy sometimes. If I'm not doing that, it ain't pretty, not at all. You can ask my husband. Although he's sweet, he might not tell you. Well, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please hit the like button and share it. And also please subscribe. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, you can put those in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.